If you truly understood that the next 90 days stand as the crossroad of your life, you would not waste another hour. You would not excuse. You would not drift. You would rise, like a man on trial for his future, because that's exactly what you are. 90 days is long enough to recreate yourself beyond recognition and short enough to lose with a single shrug. The man you'll meet 90 days from now will either thank you for the decision you make tonight or condemn you for your indifference. There will be no middle ground. I have seen men linger 10 years in mediocrity only to transform in 90 days of burning desire, definite purpose, and ruthless discipline. Henry Ford needed months, not decades, to turn vision into industry. Edison needed weeks, not years, to push through failure until light appeared. Carnegie, Schwab, Rockefeller. Every giant I've studied lived by one secret: condensed time. They lived as if each day were a lever that multiplied the next. If you act as though these 90 days decide your destiny, you will think differently, move differently. You will carry yourself with urgency, cut away distraction like poison, and the world, confused by your sudden intensity, will yield. But if you treat these days casually, you will not simply waste a season. You will waste the man you could have become, because life never refunds squandered time. The man who drifts for 90 days will drift for 900 more. So hear me clearly. In this message, I will hand you a framework, a pattern, a formula to follow every single day for the next 90 days. If you obey it, your identity will be reborn. If you neglect it, your defeat will be self-inflicted. You won't need to wonder what to do. Each day will carry its command. Each command will build upon the last. Each day will move you closer to the man you've always promised yourself you would become. Make no mistake. Today is day one. The clock has already started. Your future is watching to see what you decide now. So fix your mind on one definite purpose. Live these 90 days as though God himself decreed your success must be proved, now or never. Do this and you will awaken on the 91st day a different man, stronger, freer, wealthier, and unshakably certain of who he is. If a man were to awaken tomorrow with the realization that these 90 days contain the judgment of his entire life, he would not sleepwalk through them as he has through years past. He would rise with urgency, for he would know that 90 days of definiteness outweigh 900 days of drift. Time is not measured in hours, it is measured in intensity. I have seen men squander 10 years in idle wishes, yet compress lifetimes into months once they seized a definite aim. The world does not reward the man who takes time. It rewards the man who commands it. 90 days of burning desire, sustained with discipline, contain more opportunity than decades of hesitation. Consider Ford. He turned failure into triumph within months. Edison pushed through ridicule and darkness until the light appeared, not across years of half-hearted effort, but through fierce consecutive days of focused will. 90 days used as he used them can make a man immortal. Andrew Carnegie seized opportunity with decisiveness. While others hesitated, he acted. He conquered in months what others postponed for years. His empire was not born of delay. It was forged in urgent action. Yet look at the drifting man. 90 days pass, and he treats them like crumbs beneath a loaf of years. He excuses, he postpones, he indulges. But those 90 days wasted are not a season lost. They are a decade delayed, because the habits you build in 3 months chain you for 3 decades. The difference between two men is not opportunity. It is urgency. One lives as though every hour is a verdict. The other bargains with tomorrow. But life does not honor tomorrow. It honors today. The man who treats 90 days as sacred will harvest decades of reward. The man who treats them casually will awaken to find his destiny already spent. Time is elastic. For the drifter, 90 days stretch into years of wandering. For the man of purpose, time contracts. 90 days of intensity collapse 10 years of experience. The difference is not in the clock, but in the consciousness of the man who obeys it. That is why these next 90 days hold power beyond imagination. Do not think you can waste them and recover later. Life does not return squandered hours. The world is filled with men who thought they could delay, only to find the decision had already been made by their neglect. When you treat 90 days as though eternity is bound within them, every conversation, every thought, every action becomes sacred. You no longer speak casually. Your words become commands to destiny. You no longer drift idly. Your time becomes holy. You no longer excuse, because excuses buy you nothing. You move as a man on trial for his future, because that is who you are. I have seen men who delayed their purpose until age stole their strength. Their regret was not the loss of years, but the loss of short golden seasons that could have transformed everything. It is not age that robs a man of greatness, it is drift. 90 days seized with purpose can redeem a wasted past. 90 days wasted in apathy can destroy a promising future. So I command you now, fix your mind. These 90 days are the pivot upon which your destiny turns. They are long enough to remake you beyond recognition, and short enough to vanish with a single shrug. The clock is moving. Every tick demands to know. Will you rise as master or sink as drifter? There will be no middle ground. Say it with me. I do not drift. I decide. I do not excuse. I act. The next 90 days will purchase the life I desire. Repeat it until it burns in your subconscious. Only when your mind believes it without doubt will your actions match the urgency of destiny. You are not being asked to labor endlessly. You are being asked to compress effort into intensity. This is how you save 10 years of wandering, 20 years of indecision, 30 years of regret. When you act as though 90 days decide your life, life itself obeys. You're commanded to yield its treasures now before chance and time deny you. The man who leaves these 90 days unchanged will have no one to blame but himself. For the law has been given. Definiteness collapses decades. Ford proved it. Edison lived it. Carnegie mastered it. And now it stands before you. You have been handed the truth. You have been armed with the affirmation. You do not drift. I decide. Now the choice is yours, and the clock is already moving. Desire is the beginning of all achievement. Without it, a man may live 90 years and accomplish nothing. With it, he may live 90 days and accomplish what others could not in half a century. A weak want whispers and fades. A burning desire roars, and it does not rest until fulfilled. If your desire is weak, 90 days will slip by and you'll call it fate. If your desire burns, 90 days will move mountains and you'll call it destiny. The difference is not chance, it is fire. So let the fire begin. The next 90 days are your trial, your test, your transformation. The clock is ticking. Now rise and decide that 90 days of Carnegie's relentless pursuit accomplish what decades of another man's hesitation could not. If you wish to compress time itself, you must ignite within your heart a flame that never flickers. A weak desire for wealth collapses at the first sign of struggle, but a burning one, it laughs at pain, knocks resistance, and marches forward. A half-hearted wish to build a legacy fades in comfort. But a blazing purpose endures hunger, ridicule, and defeat until victory kneels before it. Now declare it with conviction. I desire with the fire of my soul. My burning passion turns years into days. I command abundance, and life obeys. Repeat it every morning until it becomes your nature. For without desire, faith has nothing to anchor to. Without desire, persistence has no reason to fight, and decision has no aim to strike. Time itself bows to the man whose heart burns with purpose. 90 days of mediocrity pass like a whisper. But 90 days lived in flame become a battlefield where decades are conquered. Understand this. Those who rise above did not stumble upon fortune by chance or talent. They possessed a hunger so consuming, it refused to wait for tomorrow. If your desire is faint, strengthen it. Write it down. Speak it aloud. See it so clearly that rest becomes impossible without progress. Let it haunt your sleep, fuel your mornings, and drive you toward action without hesitation. When desire becomes obsession, the universe rearranges itself to serve it. 90 days of such obsession can turn imagination into reality. The man who fails does not lack opportunity, only intensity. The man who triumphs does not depend on luck, but on the furnace of his own will. Desire shortens time. It transforms thought into wealth and vision into matter. It is the spark of faith, the fuel of persistence, and the magnetic force that attracts destiny. Without it, you drift. With it, you rise. When that fire burns within you, 90 days are enough to rewrite the story of your life. Guard that flame. Protect it from ridicule, fear, and fatigue. For when desire burns, each day multiplies in value, and 90 days can redeem wasted years. Faith. The power that commands time, faith, is the eternal elixir that breathes life into desire. Without it, 90 days are toil without triumph. With it, 90 days become a miracle of transformation. Faith is the bridge between imagination and reality. the power that insists until the world yields. A man may dream, but without faith, his dream remains trapped in thought. Faith is certainty when everything says impossible. It is the hand that seizes opportunity and the voice that commands persistence to stand guard. Henry Ford was ridiculed for believing that every man could own a car. The world laughed, until his faith silenced their doubt. Within months, his belief condensed time itself, turning mockery into monuments. Rockefeller faced scorn when he chased oil others called worthless, but his faith saw fortune where others saw failure. It was not resources that built his empire. It was unshakable belief. Edison, surrounded by failure, never saw defeat. Faith told him every failed test was progress, and so thousands of trials became a single invention that lit the world. Faith does not hope, it commands. Does not wait, it demands. Faith speaks until the subconscious accepts it as law. When belief becomes truth within, reality bends to fulfill it. This is not fantasy, it is law. Speak it now. I believe with absolute certainty. My faith makes these 90 days enough to change my destiny. Repeat it until doubt dies, until every action echoes your conviction. Faith turns ordinary days into decades of achievement. Every great fortune began with it. Benthakins in unity, Edison's in light. Their faith turns short seasons into turning points for all history. With faith, 1 hour can outweigh a year of hesitation. One conversation can shift your entire future. Faith bends time, multiplying the impact of every effort. Without it, desire falters, decision crumbles, persistence weakens, but with it all are magnified. Faith transforms desire into fire, decision into command, and persistence into immortality. Through faith, the subconscious joins with infinite intelligence, and life itself obeys. For the next 90 days, let faith be your companion. When fear speaks, answer with faith. When doubt intrudes, expel it. Guard your mind. It is sacred ground. Say it again. I believe with absolute certainty. My faith makes these 90 days sufficient to purchase a new destiny. Faith is not theory. It must become your breath, your heartbeat, your law. Only then will 90 days reshape your fate forever. Decision and discipline. The final law in decision is the thief of decades. It steals more dreams than poverty ever could. 90 days can change everything, but only for the decisive. Carnegie built an empire because he acted when others hesitated. He did not wait for certainty. He created it through motion. Lincoln preserved a nation through unwavering resolve. His decision was final, his discipline unbreakable. He turned years of chaos into a single purpose, and history followed. Indecision whispers, await for the right time. But in waiting, 90 days are lost, and 900 more follow. Discipline is the cure. Once you decide, you must act regardless of mood, comfort, or circumstance. Discipline is the knife that carves success from resistance. The successful decide quickly and rarely waver. The unsuccessful hesitate and change course with every wind. Edison decided to bring light, and nothing less. His discipline carried him through thousands of failures until the world illuminated. Each day he acted, not because he knew he'd succeed, but because quitting was never an option. The man of 90 days must treat hesitation as poison. Every hour of doubt is an hour stolen from destiny. Decide today. Act today. Discipline yourself to repeat it tomorrow. 90 days may be short, but lived with faith, fire, and focus, they can redeem lost decades. The clock is already running. The question is, will you ignite the fire or watch the time burn away? This rhythm, when obeyed, will forge you into a man of unshakable power. Say it with me. I decide swiftly. I stand firmly. Each choice becomes a stone in the fortress of my transformation. Repeat it until it becomes who you are, because identity commands behavior. And once you see yourself as a decisive, disciplined man, your actions will rise to match that vision. And when your actions align, the world cannot help but follow your lead. Carnegie once declared, no man can become rich without definiteness of purpose. I go further, no man can transform his life in 90 days without the twin weapons of decision and discipline. They slice through fear, carve tunnels through difficulty, and pierce the mist of doubt. With them, you are unstoppable. Without them, you are lost. Understand this, discipline is not punishment. It is loyalty to your own promise. It is love for your future self expressed through present obedience. When exhaustion whispers arrest, discipline answers, remember why you began. When distraction tempts you to drift, discipline brings you back to mission. 90 days of pure discipline forge habits that guard you for a lifetime. Do not fool yourself into thinking you have infinite chances. Each day of indecision charges interest that compounds into regret. But each day ruled by decision and discipline compounds into destiny. 90 days may seem small, but under the law of decision, they expand into years of progress. This is the razor's edge on which your fate now stands. Wield it with courage. Let this be your vow. I decide and I discipline. My 90 days are ruled by firm choice and faithful execution. I do not drift. I do not delay. My decisions are final. My actions are daily. My discipline is unbroken. By this law, I purchased decades with days, and my destiny is sealed. There exists no principle more decisive in bending time than persistence. Desire creates the dream. Faith sustains the dream. Decision selects the path, but only persistence protects the dream until it becomes real. Without persistence, all other powers collapse. With it, even small efforts compounded daily for 90 days become unstoppable. Our Hugh Darby once quit 3 feet from gold. That single retreat cost him millions, but he learned, and in insurance, he vowed never again to stop short. His persistence, his refusal to yield to rejection, elevated him into the elite few who sold over $1 million a year. 90 days of relentless persistence rewrote his destiny. He persisted where others rested, outworked men more talented, and proved himself indispensable. Carnegie saw in him the rare steel of persistence and entrusted him with empires. His daily endurance condensed decades of progress into a handful of years. Henry Ford failed again and again. Factories closed, backers fled, critics mocked, but Ford persisted. Every broken model became a stepping stone. Every setback sharpened his resolve. And soon his persistence produced the Model T, the machine that changed civilization. Had he surrendered in those first 90 days, history would not remember his name. Edison faced thousands of failed experiments, but he persisted until the world was lit. His persistence collapsed centuries of darkness into a single generation's light. To him, failure was not defeat, it was data. The man who persists while others laugh creates miracles in mere seasons. Persistence requires a daily oath. For the next 90 days, record this truth. If you persist, you build power. If you yield, you break the chain. 90 days of unbroken persistence form a habit that will defend you for life. The habit itself is greater than any achievement, for it guarantees all future victories. Say it with conviction, I persist without excuse. I continue without retreat. Each day adds weight to my purpose. Repeat it morning and night until persistence becomes your nature. When temptation calls, your subconscious will remember your vow, and your will shall obey. Men waste years because they lack persistence. They burn bright but fade fast. The man who endures through storms compresses wasted years into short seasons of rapid growth. 90 days of persistence where others quit gives you decades of advantage. While they begin again, you build upward layer by layer until nothing can shake you. Persistence is the proof of desire, the evidence of faith, the armor of decision. Without it, your dream is hollow. With it, your victory is inevitable. Life tests every man through defeat. The persistent turn defeat into stepping stones. The quitter becomes a slave to it. Excuses are the language of drift. Persistence is the language of destiny. For 90 days, outlaw excuses from your vocabulary. No a later. No a tomorrow. No a too tired. Say only, I persist. And then move. 90 days without excuse will buy you 10 years of mastery, 20 of progress, 30 of freedom. Persist, and you will not just endure. You will ascend. Persist, and you will silence every doubt. And on the 91st day, you will awaken with a power no storm can shake. This is the law of great men, now placed in your hands. Obey it, and no obstacle will remain standing. Now comes the lever that moves decades within months. Controlled attention. Attention is the currency of power. The man who spends it on distractions wastes years. The man who invests it on a single purpose multiplies progress tenfold. 90 days of focused attention can compress lifetimes of wandering into one season of advancement. Edison mastered this law. His mind was not scattered among trivialities. It was chained to his goal. He bent every hour toward light, and the world now glows because he refused to divide his attention. Rockefeller did the same. While others chased every shiny venture, he devoted himself entirely to oil. That focus transformed uncertainty into empire. He did not chase. He concentrated. and concentration turned years into decades of gain. Schwab, entrusted with expanding Carnegie's empire, practiced the same control. Even in chaos, his attention never broke. He focused not on problems, but on progress. And in doing so, he transformed obstacles into victories. Lincoln, too, surrounded by chaos and critics, fixed his mind on unity. His 90-day decisions equaled centuries of wandering debate. He refused to scatter energy on the petty. His focus became his weapon, and through it he preserved a nation. Attention is the lens of power. Diffuse it, and it warms nothing. Focus it, and it cuts through steel. For the next 90 days, narrow your lens to your chief aim. Each morning, ask yourself, what 3 actions today move me closer? Then do them immediately. Guard your attention like treasure. Say it now. I command my attention. My attention multiplies my power. My focus bends time into victory. Repeat this until it imprints into your subconscious. For habit rules attention. The drifter scatters, the disciplined man concentrates. 90 days of controlled attention will rewire your nature, training your mind to value what matters and dismiss what does not. Distraction is the ally of drift. It comes disguised discomfort, novelty, entertainment. It steals your focus quietly, 1 minute at a time, but controlled attention cuts through that fog. It teaches your mind to reject noise and magnify truth. 90 days of this practice will forge an unbreakable focus. Do not delude yourself with multitasking. It is the art of doing many things poorly. The greats never scattered themselves. Ford focused on cars, Edison on light, Carnegie on steel, Rockefeller on oil. Their concentrated attention made them giants. 90 days of their focus accomplished what centuries of distracted living never could. That same power lies now within your reach. Wielded in time itself will bow guard your attention as fiercely as your own life, because in truth they are one and the same. Every day you surrender distraction is a day stolen from your destiny. Every day you master your focus, you purchase another piece of freedom, power, and mastery. Within 90 days, the force of controlled attention will grow so absolute that distractions will fade into whispers and definiteness will reign in your mind. So make this your oath. I command my attention. I direct it toward purpose. I protect it from thieves. My 90 days are ruled by focus. My days condense into power. My years are redeemed from drift. This is the law of controlled attention. Obey it for 90 days and you will no longer serve your mind. You will rule it. No man reaches lasting greatness in isolation. A single mind, no matter how powerful, has limits. But when 2 or more minds unite under a shared vision, something greater is born, the mastermind. In 90 days, the right alliance can multiply your strength beyond imagination. What could take you years alone can be achieved in a single season through united intelligence. Andrew Carnegie once said that his fortune came not from his own brilliance, but from the brilliance he gathered around him. He surrounded himself with men of courage, vision, and loyalty, and through their harmony, he multiplied his own power. 90 days of collective focus with his team produced results no solitary genius could equal in decades. Charles Schwab rose through alliance, not isolation. His optimism and drive blended with Carnegie's definiteness of aim. And together they built an empire of steel in the time it takes most men to make a plan. Henry Ford, though a man of vision, leaned on the wisdom of Edison and others who fortified him. He wasn't too proud to learn to listen to a line. That humility turned vision into empire. Even Edison, the name synonymous with invention, did not labor alone. His lab was alive with thinkers, dreamers, and doers. Each shared his rhythm of persistence and purpose. It was not genius alone that brought light to the world. It was unity of minds pursuing a single goal with relentless will. Abraham Lincoln, too, harnessed this law. Surrounded by rivals, he turned them into instruments of unity. His strength lay not in silencing others, but in harmonizing their power toward a greater purpose. 90 days of such unity preserved a nation. So in the next 90 days, find your ally. Even one aligned mind can multiply your results tenfold. Choose carefully. Wrong companions drain you. Right ones ignite you. Align with those who believe in your purpose, who sharpen your persistence, who lift your imagination. Together you will achieve in months what others chase for years. Declare it, I attract allies of my destiny. I unite with minds that strengthen mine. My mastermind multiplies my 90 days into power. Repeat until belief becomes truth. For the mind you seek is seeking you. One conversation with the right person can save you a decade of wandering. One alliance formed in harmony can rewrite your future. Seek quality over quantity. The power of the mastermind is not in numbers, but in unity of purpose. The fool isolates himself, thinking solitude proves strength. The wise man harmonizes, knowing creation itself thrives through cooperation. 90 days of partnership with the right ally can turn failure into triumph, scarcity into abundance, doubt into destiny. Let your vow be this: I will not walk alone. I will form harmony with those aligned with my purpose. I will multiply my mind through alliance. I will redeem years through cooperation. This is the law of the mastermind. It has built empires, forged fortunes, and preserved nations. And now it shall serve. Now that you know the 6 pillars, desire, faith, decision, persistence, attention, and the mastermind, you must wear them in daily practice. For knowledge without action is impotence, so without motion is decay. The next 90 days demand structure, a rhythm so simple it cannot be avoided, and so powerful it cannot fail. Each morning begins with command. Before the noise of the world intrudes, speak your definite chief aim aloud. Write it. Hold it, declare. This is what I demand of life. This is what I will achieve. Nothing shall stop me. Speak with emotion until your subconscious accepts it as law. Then affirm your faith. I believe with absolute certainty. My burning desire shortens years into days. 90 days shall purchase my destiny. This morning ritual sets your compass before the journey begins. Then visualize. See the end already accomplished. Feel the weight of victory, the warmth of success, the power of freedom. This emotional conviction turns imagination into blueprint. By midday, move from vision to action. Write down 3 definite steps that advance your goal and do them immediately. No waiting, no perfection, just forward motion. Every small act is a brick in your 90-day fortress. Discipline yourself to complete them before yielding to distraction. 90 days of such obedience will engrave success into your reflexes. Each evening, reflect. Ask, did I persist without excuse? Did I guard my attention? Did I advance my aim? Record one victory, one lesson, one intention for tomorrow. These nightly reviews forge awareness and gratitude, the twin guards of progress. 90 such reflections create an unbreakable chain of growth. Guard these 3 rituals as sacred. Morning declaration, midday action, evening reflection. They require no wealth, no permission, only decision and discipline. Yet they carry the power to turn thought into reality, faith into fortune, persistence into mastery. Repeat your creed. Day by day I ascend. Each morning I command. Each midday I act. Each evening I reflect. 90 days decide my destiny. These words spoken with conviction imprint the rhythm of transformation upon your subconscious. The man who commands, acts, and reflects daily cannot drift. He is carried forward by the current of discipline. Understand this truth. Greatness is built upon simple laws obeyed daily. Men seek complex systems, but every empire was forged by the repetition of simple disciplines. 90 days of obedience will save you years of confusion. 90 days of neglect will cost you decades of regret. This 90-day framework is your bridge. Cross it daily. Each step compounds into mastery. By its end, you will not only have advanced your dream, you will have become a new man, one forged in decisiveness, persistence, and faith. And this identity will not fade. It will guide you for decades. For you will have purchased not just results, but character, not just success, but sovereignty. So commit now. These 90 days are yours, short enough to grasp, long enough to transform, powerful enough to rewrite your future. Obey them, and on the 91st day you will awaken unrecognizable to your former self. Picture that day. The morning light touches your face, not as a drifter, but as a conqueror. You rise certain because you have proven that discipline, faith, decision, and persistence never fail when practiced daily. You stand proud, for you've defeated the only true enemy, your own drift. 90 days have bought back decades. You have redeemed your time. You have mastered yourself. Say it aloud, I have awakened. I have proved myself. I live with definiteness. I do not waste years, for I have mastered days. I am the master of my fate. the captain of my soul. Let this be your eternal command, for the man you once were is gone. The drifter is buried. The disciplined one stands in his place, decisive, focused, unstoppable. And remember, these 90 days were never the finish line. They were the forge. Continue this rhythm, and you will never drift again. For you now hold the law that multiplies time. Definiteness practiced daily compresses decades into days. Carry this truth into every season of your life, and you will never again fear failure or regret. You have proven the promise. This is how you save 10 years of your life, perhaps 20, perhaps more. You are no longer the man who drifts. You are the man who commands destiny. 90 days have decided your eternity.